I'm Josh Ryan, and I know what you folks are thinking. What a way to start the week. It's Curmudgeon Day.
I'm Lance Phillips.
Exactly.
I was trying to show the old, decrepit Lance Phillips there, but you're saying that curmudgeons could be any age, you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you're a very arguable, disagreeable person.
I don't think
Doesn't
that's
have to-
me. I don't think that's me.
Oh, I wasn't saying
On
you.
this show it could be.
On the show it could be, but I'm saying you can be an 18-year-old and be a curmudgeon.
Lance Phillips, Josh Ryan, Chris King off this week. I don't know what he's doing. Probably nothing. A whole lot of nothing, as he normally does. Good to have you on the show again, my man.
Yeah, it's been some time.
It has been some time. We were just discussing what curmudgeons were before we got started. You initially said they're old, but you actually think they could be young.
I do. I think you can easily be a curmudgeon when you're 17, 18 years old.
Really?
I've coached a few curmudgeons, I would
you
say,
really?
actually. Yeah.
You're part of the Rustlers men's volleyball team. Are there curmudgeons on that team?
There are no longer curmudgeons on the team.
There are no longer curmudgeons.
Unless you catch Taylor Dyer on a bad day, then he might have a bit of curmudgeon in him
feel like
as well.
he never really has a bad day.
I think every coach has a bit of curmudgeon, though.
We got some Rustlers stuff we're going to start off. Let's
absolutely.
do the women's basketball.
Okay, let's do
another
that.
good weekend in Grand Prairie. At home against Grand Prairie.
Right.
Winning 2, moving the record to 12-4. Of course, it's easy to win against Grand Prairie. They're dead last.
Yep.
But it begs the question, is this team as good as their 12-4 record, Josh Ryan?
I believe they are as good as their record.
Really?
I think it's a very strange year in the ACAC North and women's basketball. You have several competitive teams, but you don't have that typical dynasty-esque team, that one team that's dominant, wins 18 to 22 games. Nate has been that in the past. The Rustlers have been that in the past as well. Their undefeated season just a couple of years ago. But I do think this particular group, there's a similar level of skill between the Keanos and the Concordias of the world. They're just very well coached. They've got a lot of depth. And they've managed to really grind out a few games.
I can't say they're well coached. I can't sit here in good faith and say that team is well coached, Kinger.
Of course
no.
you can.
Listen, I don't know about this. This is a really interesting thing because this team has played 8 games against teams above 500 and 8 games against teams below. Below 500, they're clobbering those teams. They're 7-1.
Yep.
But with the teams at 500 or greater, they're 5-3. And if you include the 2 exhibition games in early January, they're 5-5.
Right.
I believe that a team that's 12-4 needs to be better against those above 500 squads, and they're not. I mean, there's a lot of talent on this team, but there's a ton of inconsistency, an absolute ton of inconsistency. They need to be better in that regard.
I do believe they need to be more consistent, but some of that, or more consistent rather, some of that still comes from the injuries they've had. I mean, over the first weekend on the road against Keano, they were missing Anna Mabui, Ali Pilgrim, Meg Faraz is still out as well, and they managed to get a split against one of their top teams in the North.
I have a theory on that as well, and to me, the theory on that is there's a lot of players in that team that are out of shape. A lot that are out of shape.
Well, Kinger said as much a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely, and he stood by it. And that speaks to not necessarily getting injuries, but recovering from them. If you're in good shape, if your body's in good shape, you're taking care of it, you're recovering from those injuries quicker. And they do not recover quickly from injuries.
That is very true, unfortunately.
I mean, this doesn't matter this year because she's not playing, but this team needs Tori Dugan.
I knew you were going to say that.
This team needs Tori Dugan on the floor, and they're not going to get her, unfortunately, because she's going to hold players accountable. She would be probably the best, well, not probably, she would be the best point guard in the league.
Yeah, she'd be the best ball-moving point guard in the league, for
she's
sure.
She's smart with the game. Next year, that team is going to benefit hugely from her, but they really need her. They need to get in shape, too.
Although she's still holding out hope that she can be ready in a month from now. I know it's incredibly impossible at this point. But moving over to another Rustlers squad, the men's volleyball team, finally breaking their 2-year road losing streak, as well as a 9-match losing streak, managing to win in 4 and 5 sets against the Grand Prairie Wolves, having to come from behind as well in that 5th setter on the weekend. So good weekend from them. They now play Nate. Need to win out to make the playoffs this year. So maybe this is jumping the gun, but the question to you, Lance, are they a playoff team next year?
Oh, man. You'd like to think so, right? I mean,
absolutely.
They've stated all year, Taylor stated all year along with some of the older players that, hey, we got a youthful team, we're a young team, okay, fine. But next year they're going to have to translate that into a winning team as well. You see, when you watch this team, it's really frustrating if you're a fan because you can see, and I know that Taylor feels the same way, you can see greatness from some of these players. You watch these guys, like, God, these guys could be really good, but they're just not there. The thing that worries, and to answer your question, I mean, I feel like I answered, but I don't know. I don't know if they are. I mean, the thing that would worry me right now, Are they going to get some of these players back that they have currently, like Matt Peck, Braden Griffith? Are these guys going to return in 2018, 2019, given the struggles they've had over the last 2 or 3 seasons?
And because I have worked with the team, I guess I have an answer there. Most of this lineup will be returning. There's only 2 or 3 guys
and
confirmed.
They need it to.
Confirmed at this point that will not be with the team. And some of the guys will not only be here next year, but probably 3-4 years down the road as well, which is awesome for continuity. It's real strength in this league. The other thing that helps
They're saying that, though.
They're saying that.
You're
but
right. If they're going to continually lose,
you're right.
That,
but at least in regards to next year, they have guys confirmed for next year. And if they have that great year, that gives them that
verbally confirmed, though.
Verbally and signed, confirmed for next year, which gives them that momentum into the next year. But on top of that, several other teams in the league are going to miss players. Nate loses one of their best players, Jordan Taliski, due to eligibility because of what done. Keanu loses Blajej Polovsky, one of the key, MVP candidates every year for them.
Keanu only gets better every year. They never seem to skip a beat.
Well, I'd say they're a little bit worse this year, and they're vulnerable with playoffs maybe. But even some of the other teams that are fighting for the playoffs, like Kings, like Concordia, for example, they're going to lose 3 or 4 players. So Lakeland isn't going to have that problem. The question is whether the current guys put in the work this summer. If they do, I believe this is a playoff team. Maybe a higher playoff team.
Depends on work.
Always depends on work.
Toronto Argonauts have some work to do this offseason.
They do.
Last week, James Wilder Jr. made public his $53,000 salary and then made public that he's not going to play in 2018. Followed days later by Victor Butler doing the same thing. I was about to say Chris, but I'll say Josh.
Okay, good.
These players, Josh, they're under contract for another year. Should they just be playing out their contract, or do they have a legit beef here?
I think they do have a legit beef. The CFL has always sort of had an understanding with players on the high end that if they can have an opportunity to play NFL, they're going to want to pursue that opportunity. We stated off air, there's only a couple of players in the league that make more than the minimum salary at the NFL level.
There's none of the players that are non-quarterbacks make the NFL minimum
right.
$465.
And the 2 guys you just mentioned, they're both well under $100,000 a year. So it's quadruple their salary. It's more than quadruple their salary. It's life-changing money.
Yeah.
And they're Americans as well. So they're going to
want
that
they entered
opportunity.
A contract though. Should they have to play out that should they be playing out that contract?
But teams have operated that way in the past where they've had contracts with players and Jim Barker, for example, they essentially tear up those contracts as soon as that opportunity presents.
That's right, because they used to have the 1-and-1 deal the CFL did where you could play a year under a 2-year deal, and in the option year teams would let you explore NFL opportunities. They did away with that in 2012. Here's the problem. I'm sitting on the fence here. I got one leg on each side because I see it from the owner's perspective that, look, you signed a 2-year deal. You're playing the 2 years. I also see the player's side of it because, and this is why I see the player's side of it. When they did away with this, it created a lot of greasy, backroom, allegedly verbal things where, oh yeah, we'll let you play year 1 and in year 2 you can go explore it. But when it comes right down to it, they're not letting them. Now, that'd be like me, if I'm the player, that'd be like me walking in the street and buying a used car that has no engine from a guy and him saying, yeah, in a week I'm going to replace that. I take the car and in a week he doesn't. Look, if I'm dumb enough to do that without something written, then I probably deserve what I get. I probably deserve the car with no engine.
And I think what this means is they really need to explore bringing back that policy.
Oh, they have to.
Ultimately, they only lose a couple of players at most.
Yeah, they're saying
it's
they lose
so minimal.
I know
what they
it is, and they're saying they lose. We're losing some of our best talent. Yeah,
of course,
you definitely will be losing some of your best talent, but you're not losing a ton of guys. I mean, there's not a lot of guys that are capable in the CFL of playing NFL.
No,
they're not.
It's a handful of guys, and most of those guys don't last a long time in the NFL. They often come right back to the CFL.
Exactly.
Anyway. Moving over to a different sport, the NHL had its All-Star weekend, and I know we've talked about All-Star weekends or lack of excitement around them before on the show. But the more interesting conversations out of the weekend were around arenas. Gary Bettman making the statement that Ottawa needs a new arena and soon in order to fix its attendance problem, which occurred even last year during their conference finals run. The question is, will a new arena in a different part of the city fix those? And that remains a question that hasn't been answered yet.
Yeah, and it's not going to be answered until the arena is built, or it's not. Yeah, and Yes, I believe that it will solve the attendance issues. Look, having every Canadian city has a downtown arena, or downtown-ish in the case of Calgary, has a downtown arena other than Ottawa.
Yep.
That's not even in Canada. That's in actually Stittsville is where it is. It's not even in Canada.
Yeah.
So, and that drive and getting to that arena is an absolute nightmare. It's a half an hour on a good day.
Yeah.
For a hockey game, it's worse. Look at having an arena down there opens the door to 500,000 people roughly. It rejuvenates that area around the LeBreton Flats. Take a look at what they've done at Lansdowne Park. There's bars, there's restaurants, there's amenities all around there. It's a really nicely laid out area, and they could do the same thing in LeBreton Flats.
Yeah.
And yes, get the arena put down there. Why is it not? It's absolutely insane. Get it there.
All great points, none of which I would dispute. The one thing that makes me pause that I don't think it's a slam dunk that their attendance will instantly be better is that one, it's a weird market with this particular team. They don't have the same kind of rabid fan base that some of the other NHL franchises
And they're a bad team this year?
They're a bad team this year. When anytime teams don't win, there's going to be less attendance or less excitement around the team. Also, often they have tickets picked up by Leafs fans anyway. I think that's one of the most purged buildings in the league, where fans from other cities will come in and watch games because
Same as Buffalo.
Buffalo to an extent as well, yes. And I think that's something they'll still have to worry about even with a new building.
One of the other issues that they've got that's not helping them is Eugene Melnyk. Eugene Melnyk is creating like a divide between fans and the team. He's talking about the team leaving town. He's talking about, we're going to build this arena. No, we're not going to build this arena. Like, he's one of the biggest problems right now.
Yeah.
And he can alleviate a lot of this if he just gives fans what they want, which is the confidence that this team is going to be here and that he's going to do what he can to make fans happy. And he's doing the opposite of that.
He has done the opposite of that, unfortunately.
No
they've had a couple of opportunities that if he had been a little bit more flexible on payroll, like 5 to 10 million, I think they would have been in the Stanley Cup Finals a couple of other times. And they wouldn't have lost Alfredson.
Maybe. Baseball Hall of Fame inductions were finished this past week. Vladimir Guerrero, Trevor Hoffman, Jim Thome, and Chipper Jones all in. You know who's not in, Josh? Barry Bonds.
Oh, shocker.
And Roger Clemens.
Shocker.
Not in the Hall of Fame. Getting closer, but not there. Should these guys be in the Hall?
Of course should they be in the Hall of Fame.
No way. You can't put cheaters in the Hall of Fame.
They were all cheaters in that era.
Who's all?
Every major slugger in that era is essentially at this point either accused of.
They've all
been either accused of steroids, admitted to using steroids.
How many of them are in the Hall of Fame? Zero.
But
none of them.
And that group saved baseball. Baseball was dying in the 90s, and that home run competition between McGuire, Sosa,
It doesn't mean it's right
Bonds,
what they did. It doesn't make it right.
Baseball was okay with it. Management knew what was going on.
It'd be like if
okay
this building was decrepit and falling down and I burned it to the ground, I would do Newcap a favor. Like, it doesn't make it right.
They didn't burn the building down. They revitalized the league.
But they did it by cheating.
Which the league was okay with.
No, they weren't okay with it.
They were okay with it until people started finding out that people were cheating.
You talked to Bud Selig, and he said he was okay with it.
Yeah, he admitted to as much.
He did not. Look, the league is not okay with it. You can't allow guys into the Hall of Fame who cheated their way into the Hall of Fame. You can't. The problem is they still have 4 years on the ballot, and they're getting closer. I mean, Bonds was at 64.2 this year. So was Clemens. They're getting closer. They're probably going to get in, which is it's wrong. You can't allow guys that cheat into the league.
Specifically with Bonds, he was also very successful before using steroids. I mean, he was a league MVP before steroids.
But the fact of the matter is, he still used. He still cheated. He still cheated. And, you can say, everybody was doing it, but not everybody was doing it. Yeah, there were guys that were caught, but not everyone admitted to it, and not everyone was caught. So not everybody was.
Fans didn't complain about people cheating at the time. They loved that baseball.
Yeah, but I think at the time, people didn't know that this was going on. At the time, it came out after the fact that, hey, these guys have been cheating. And there's a lot of, I think purist baseball fans are going to tell you they didn't like it. But, the casual baseball fan, like, like I've said before, like, have a juiced up Olympics. Could be interesting to watch. But, the casual fan probably enjoyed it, but purists don't.
To be honest, I'd love a juiced up Olympics.
Actually, juiced up Olympics.
I would love a juiced up Olympics. The NHL All-Star Draft occurred just over a week ago, I guess. All-Star game obviously coming up. Again, as we've talked about on the show, not huge fans of All-Star games. This could have been an interesting opportunity for the league to make a televised event that capitalizes on all of the drama that's occurred off-court and on-court in the league. Instead, it was done behind closed doors. Why? Why do they miss such a great opportunity to capitalize on the marketability of the league?
I don't think they did.
Wow.
Listen, the NBA is all about drama. People who are NBA, I'm saying purists again, NBA purists, they love this drama.
I do.
People
I
love the drama.
Yeah.
I think it's childish. I'm not big on it.
Oh, it is childish.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not big on it, but I don't think they missed an opportunity because you can be rest assured that they didn't do it like the NHL. They didn't have all these guys sitting in a room and LeBron and Steph picked them. They just, none of them were together.
Two guys behind a room, that was it.
For sure, which means that there could be fireworks at the NBA All-Star game. You could make the point they missed an opportunity, but I actually think that they've created a bigger one. By not showing this, they've created more people that are probably going to watch this game to see, like, what's going to happen here?
No, I totally disagree with that. One, because again, this league thrives on that particular drama, so why not take advantage and showcase it? Two, I think if you see them have that, so let's say, for example, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook have a face-off as they walk by. Now you've seen them give that look as they do the walk to the table and everything, having been picked by a team. Then you go, okay, I know they're going to have a great opportunity in this game. Also, they didn't specify who was picked first or last. One of the best parts of the NHL draft was when Phil Kessel was picked last. That made the weekend. You have Kevin Love picked last. Now he's got a bone to pick with both teams, and he's going to play his butt off at the game.
I'll give you that, but there's still, I'll give you that, but I think it's interesting. It's going to create people like, I want to know what these guys are going to do when they're around one another, and I can see that happening.
You're right, but I think that having shown the draft, that's what will do that. And again, I think because the NHL has done it effectively already, the NBA could have done it effectively.
Good point. The NHL did do it effectively, but they haven't done it since.
And I think they've missed out.
They have missed out. Albert's on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot about that guy?
I forgot about Albert.
Forgot about that guy.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
Welcome back. I'll start off.
Yeah, all right. Albert, why is Albert ditching the sunglasses there?
Says you can't see with his sunglasses on at night.
Oh, okay.
This is part of my take, at Pardon My Take. Kirk Cousins is not a franchise QB. Of course, this comes from this image we see here. Did you see Kirk Cousins cooks his steak with aluminum foil on the grill like an old Jewish grandmother that leaves the plastic on her furniture? That's not a franchise quarterback.
No, that's definitely not a franchise quarterback.
I got to be honest, I don't know where the old Jewish grandmother comes from.
I'd take that Jewish grandma cooking, though, over Blake Bortles any day. At Hot Stove Stats says Omar Vizquel received more votes than Larry Walker did. That is beyond laughable.
It is.
Embarrassing, actually.
The fact that Larry Walker just went through his 8th year on the ballot and he is still not in the Hall of Fame, there's something wrong.
That's a little crazy.
There's something wrong.
Male in the beak.
But I mean, the Baseball Hall of Fame has been such a weird, subjective thing with so many writers with biases anyway.
Feels like an old boys club.
Yeah, all right, it is an old boys
club. Barstool Sports at Barstool Sports. So here's one for the Montreal people watching. Vladimir Guerrero choosing to wear an Angels cap instead of Expos cap is sad, and it is. He had his best years as an Expo. His best years, I believe there's another tweet coming up here about that. But
there's mail.
He had his best years as an Expo. I think he just wanted to go in because he's the first Angel to go in the Hall.
That could be fair, but I know it's tough for a fan base that lost their franchise and have so many nostalgic memories. It's just one more thing that baseball's taken away from them, essentially.
Joke.
So this is from
They'll
at
always have Tim
MLB.
Raines.
This is at MLB_MTL, so Montreal, and this is replying to Vlad Guerrero 27 and at Baseball Hall. What makes Vlad Guerrero a Hall of Famer?
Look at the stats.
That's a lot of proof.
Pretty heavily Montreal.
A lot of proof that, as you said, is very heavily Expo.
You've got mail.
Very heavily Expo. Rest our case.
The stuff he did in Montreal compared to California is unbelievable.
Yeah, but people love California, I guess. It's sunny there.
NHL at NHL. You're the real treasure, Eric Carlson. And I believe that's Victor Hedman, if I'm not mistaken. NHL, #NHL All-Star, coming in as Pirates.
Yeah, that's a pretty good outfit. Carlson has loved to do that. Every Halloween he dresses up as something with his wife. They're pretty good at the costume game.
I'll give him that.
So I think NHL probably could use a couple more characters like that. There's not a lot of really colorful guys in the league.
PK Subban is pretty good.
Well, he's one of the few. At Sung_Min Kim, sometimes corporate sponsorship can lead to pretty cool first pitchers. Here's former Kia Tigers side armor Dong Hoon Yu throwing through one Kia car.
I feel like that's not hard to do.
Well, Well, if you you know what, if you throw full speed, maybe it's a little trickier.
And he's sidearming it too, which is bizarre.
I've seen people try to throw candy at people across the room and throw straight down, so you never know. When the obstacles are in the way.
But they're not pitchers, though.
Yeah, but how often does a pitcher have to go through a little angle? There's all this space.
You gotta go through a strike zone. It's like this big.
Yeah, but there's nothing blocking the strike zone. It's literally if you miss, you damage a car and you look like a doofus.
I don't think it matters.
I don't think they want to look like a doofus. No one wants to look like a doofus.
This is interesting. This is Mark Cuban at MCUBAN, so M Cuban. It's time for @Twitter to confirm a real name and real person behind every account, and for @Facebook to get far more stringent on the same. I don't care what the username is, but there needs to be a single human behind every individual account. That is fascinating, and that man speaks truth.
I don't think that what that man is asking for is possible, though. The amount of Twitter users there have and the amount of staff Twitter has, I don't think it's possible to fully police it and make sure 100% that every Twitter user is going to be active.
I don't even know where you begin.
Think of the millions and millions of people who have, think of the people, like how many people in the States who like to troll people have 5 or 6 accounts. Like it's like the internet.
I went to school with a guy who likes to troll people, and he has 1 account.
Well, he's got to up his game then. At off the crossbar, in response to Colorado Mammoth's tweet, Hopi's defense here is unreal. When isn't it?
It's actually incredible. Like watching what he does is amazing. Like you can't get to the goal at all. Like around that guy.
No,
it's not even fair.
No. Next.
Pete Blackburn. We've talked about Pete Blackburn before at Pete Blackburn. Congrats to Brad Marchand, the only player to have his video player profile booed by the All-Star Game crowd, at least until they show Crosby's. He was not liked. There was a guy in there. Did you see the guy with like exterminate the rat? And he was posing beside the photo. Like
he's the one guy I've seen that's popped up on an Olympic roster recently that people don't really want him to be on the team. That says something. People are so patriotic about Canada's national team. They announced Marchand. I'd feel weird about it.
People are not big on this guy. Like he's
created
a name for himself. I mean, when he entered the league, he was a big deal, and I mean, he's still a good player, but he's created this name, and people.
Well, and all those tweet videos that show the very short man punching up at a large man protecting Marchand. It's accurate. He's kind of a rat.
It makes me wonder too how players feel about this guy. Like, I'd love to get players behind closed doors and be like, what do you think of this guy?
I think if they do their annual polls, most hated player in the league, he's minimum top 3.
He's taking over Sean Avery.
Oh, yeah. Not even a debate. Avery wasn't always number 1 either. There was other guys who hated more than Avery.
He was pretty bad, though.
He was pretty bad, but there were guys who were hated more than Avery. At Worldwide Wob, oh my good Lord, Embiid sends Russell Westbrook to the graveyard. That is a dunk and a half.
Did you see that?
I did see that. I saw the Twitter reaction that evening.
He lays him out like.
Oh.
You've got nailed.
And that's the risk you run when you're a 6-footer to 6'4" guy going against a 7-footer.
It's kind of enjoyable to watch too.
Oh, it's totally enjoyable to watch.
Okay, Roger Lajoie. So this is at the Raj 590. So Roger Lajoie, he's a former teacher of mine and also a Sportsnet 590 personality. I like at MLB All-Star Game because baseball is not a physical sport. This is a great point. But any sport where physical play is involved, like NHL, NFL, NBA, the All-Star Game is a farce. Fans like it, great, but I'm not going to analyze what happened. It's just for laughs. It's true. Yeah. That's why the baseball All-Star Game is good, because there's no physicality. Like the NFL's Pro Bowl is an absolute joke.
I don't know why they still bother with it at this point.
It is the most ridiculous.
Like, do they make any money off it either? The
Who's
ratings are always
to go to that.
Like the ratings are always low anyway. Like they've gotten lower ratings in the NHL All-Star Game a few times.
Well, it's terrible. I'm not paying my money to go to that. Are you paying yours?
Heck no. I don't have the money anyway.
It's such a waste of time.
Yeah.
We're back. You can keep your gloves on, but ours are off.
Winner, loser.
There's a lot of winners and a lot of losers actually the last week. Yeah, I have a few.
There were a lot. I feel like there are quite a few losers to go around this week.
Yeah. But a few winners. There's still some high moments, despite All-Star Weekend always has a lot of losers, but there were a few high moments. Do you want me to kick it off? Or you want to
go ahead.
Okay. I think this is a pretty obvious one that we haven't gotten to talk about. Caroline Wozniacki. Everyone's talking about Roger Federer doing as well as he did, obviously. Federer, of course, had a great finish winning the Aussie Open. But Caroline Wozniacki, her first major, she was basically known as the player to serve as world #1 the longest without winning a major. And then most people knew because Rory McIlroy decided to break up with her in really tragic fashion. Now she moves past that. She has a major. She's back up #1 in the world. And things are kind of opening up this year because Serena Williams has not come back to play yet. So
is she dating again?
And she is. She's engaged to former NBA player David Lee. And
she got engaged pretty quick.
It was like 2 years after.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty good weekend for Caroline Wozniacki.
Roger Federer had a pretty good weekend.
Yeah, he did.
Like 20th major?
Yeah.
The guy's unbelievable.
He's amazing.
He's timeless.
He's absolutely incredible.
You know, it's funny because Jaromir Jagr says he wanted to play till he's 45. Like Roger Federer could play till he's 60.
I'm thinking, I mean, he doesn't look like he's slowing down yet, and with other guys being injured, it's open to win more majors.
You can make a case that, you know, a winner could be the NHL All-Star game. No, the loser was the stick handling competition at the NHL All-Star weekend. Like, what is this? Why are guys having to stick handle through targets that are elevated above the ice? It never happens. You don't have to do that in a game. You don't. It's insane. The fact that they're doing this, and I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it, you know, more interesting for fans. But it's dumb. It's dumb.
No, I think what they should focus on is do the goofy stuff with the shootout, like the costumes and stuff. Do that. Make that goofy. Everything else should be as based on execution as best as possible.
Like they should do things like have the best costume gets like, you know, $100,000 donated to the charity of your choice or that kind of stuff, right? Like if you're going to be giving away, that's the other thing. Brock Besser got $500,000 and a car out of the deal. Like maybe give that money to something that's maybe a little more deserving than a guy who won an MVP at an All-Star game. That doesn't matter. Like it's insane. Giving millionaires more money.
Again, that's why I don't care if we have an All-Star game. Like I don't care. I haven't watched the NHL All-Star game in 7 years, and I don't plan on watching it again anytime soon.
How much good could the $550,000 do for Brock Besser? Well, even at that, I'm pretty sure
he could buy a lot of hamburgers.
$212,000 of his, you know, was a bonus for him because he made the All-Star game. Okay, fine. Let's say the other $278,000. That'd do a lot of good in the world.
It could. Well, it could also buy a really large keg.
Good.
Yeah. No, obviously I agree with you. Let's go to another loser, college athletes, and this is kind of a last couple of months loser, more than just specifically last week. But obviously the Larry Nassar scandal has been, you know, talked about intensely on other sports shows. That alone is awful for what happened to all those girls and their parents. But that kind of goes along with the prostitution scandal that happened a little while back with Rick Pitino, with the eligibility scandals, the money laundering scandals between teams, players being given stuff they weren't supposed to. All that's come out of it is some suspensions. A few people lost their jobs, but the administrations generally are fine, and the league is fine. There's no punishment to the NCAA at all. And all the while, you still have college athletes who are not paid to do what's essentially a full-time job that results in millions of dollars for that institution.
Right.
College athletes are still getting the loss every time.
Are they really?
I think they are. I think in the States, based on their likenesses are used for video games, they risk, you know, career-ending injuries and then have to make their way through college without scholarships afterwards because not all of those institutions do not honor their scholarships all the way through. I'd say they're losers in that situation. At least in the States, it's a very different situation up here.
There's some that aren't losing in the States, I can tell you that.
There's a few that are, you know, they get a great career out of it, but not by and large.
Big winner from the weekend. The Rustlers women's basketball team.
Yes.
Not only did they win 2 games fairly handily, which is obviously good.
Yep.
They had their annual mother-daughter weekend. So a lot of mothers in attendance went out to the escape room in Lloydminster here to escape the room, which is actually really cool in itself. I'll say that. That's worth going to.
It's fun thing to do.
It's absolutely worth going to. They've done a great job there. So they did the escape room. Also went out to a local restaurant for some food, which had some camaraderie there. And then wine and cheese at the wonderful Chris King's house.
Yeah.
Really nicely put together event. You know, and I know Chris does a lot of work to get that going, and he did a great job with it.
Yeah, they've done something like that in professional sports where they do a dad's weekend or a dad's road trip kind of thing. I think it'd be cool for more college teams to actually do this with moms and dads.
Like more college teams at Lakeland College.
Yeah.
Like more
100%.
Rustlers teams need to do this. He's the only one that does it.
Yeah, indeed. One other winner I'd like to talk about really quick, Bobcats forward Kobe Walker going to the Rochester Institute of Technology. Kobe Walker obviously having a pretty good season.
He is having a good
year.
game.
And now he gets to continue that on, play hockey again, and get a good education out of it.
He's been good for the team, I mean, ever since he's been here. But this year he's having a really good season. He's the only player on that team that currently is producing at a point-per-game clip, which is better than he was last year. And he could be a nice addition for RIT.
Yeah.
Look at he single-handedly won the game against Sherwood Park the other night.
Yeah.
At the Hookie Hockey. Like, he won it. He was in on every goal. He scored 3 of them and assisted on the 4th.
Yeah, perhaps they should have more school children in the arena.
Yeah, or perhaps that Kobe Walker should just guarantee wins at more games, because that's what he did.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point too.
All right, I got a loser here. It's Montreal. Montreal is a loser because Vlad Guerrero went in as, I've got written here, Vlad Guerrero goes into hell as an angel. So I don't think it's hell he went to, although in Montreal they may think that.
Yeah.
He goes into the hall as an angel. I feel bad for Montreal. I really do. If you go to Montreal and you go to sports shops, there's tons of Expos gear. Like they still very much, there's a ton of fans there that still really appreciate what the Expos were and hope to get more Expos ball back or more baseball back in Montreal. This is another kick right in the beanbag.
For having basically the most storied NHL franchise, I think that's fair to say. The Canadiens, the most storied, historic, longest lasting legacy NHL franchise. It's probably maybe
the Montreal Canadiens.
Montreal Canadiens. I think it's fair to say they have that. Despite having that team, it's almost just as much an Expos town. Like, it's crazy.
There's a lot of
for a team that, for having lost a team, for a city that lost a team, they still have so much love for that baseball team, despite this other franchise dominating the culture of that city.
Like I said before, they'll always have Tim Raines.
Yeah.
But the fact that Guerrero didn't go in as an Expo is definitely, that's a hit to them. That's a hit. And there'll be a lot of peeved Expos fans, Montreal people over that.
Absolutely. I think you can add, adding to that, Montreal as a loser, the Canadiens haven't been very good either, so. No. And it's not like the Alouettes had a great season themselves. They've actually had a couple.
They had the worst season.
They had a couple of rough years recently. So it hasn't been. Just if you're a sports fan in Montreal, it isn't a great time to be a sports fan.
Bang out another one there. Real quick.
Bang one out one really quick. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. WEI host Alex Reimer, radio host for the Patriots, lost a job after calling Tom Brady's daughter a pissant.
That was absolutely insane. Can you imagine?
Oh, I can't imagine.
Brady just cut the interview. Now we're done.
We're done.
Who does that?
That guy, apparently.
If you can't score, you might as well drop the gloves.
Gonna do some over-under.
Over-under.
Josh Williams will start it off today.
Okay. There's a good week to do it over-under when the Super Bowl's coming up.
No joke. Mine's pretty heavily Super Bowl laden.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to start with tennis, though, because we can kind of leave the tennis discussion at the end. So we said Roger Federer won his 20th major. He will finish with over-under 22.5 majors for his career.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on that.
You can take the over?
Yeah, I think he could win. I think, as it stands right now, I feel like right now is his best time to win.
Yes, that is correct.
It's not like he's got to compete against like a Novak Djokovic who was at his best, 2 years ago. He's the guy right now. So I'm going to take the over on that.
Okay. I'm going to pull a hot take and say under. I think he will win at least one more major this year, and he might win one next year.
Oh, 23.5. I thought you meant this year.
I think he will He could finish with 22. I don't think he'll finish with 23. I'm in the minority on that, but I think in the next 2 or 3 years, you'll finally see that decline. I know I'm in the minority, but I think that's what's going to
happen. Patriots will win the Super Bowl by 9.5 points.
I'm going to take the over. I think this game is not going to be as close as the Jacksonville game. I think that the Patriots will be really fired up to play. They'll be well prepared. As good as this Philly defense is, it is not the same level as this Jackson defense. And even though they have a better quarterback, they don't have the same level of skill players that the Jacksonville Jags do as well. So I think Patriots are loaded, ready to go. Brady's going to be healthy. And, once again, New England's going to celebrate as Super Bowl champs. Rustlers women's volleyball. Losses at the end of this season, over or under 0.5?
Zero. You mean at the end of the season as in the regular season?
I'm talking regular season and playoffs combined. Total losses.
So on the way to a national championship?
Yes.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. If they're not going to have any in the regular season. So if they have any in the playoffs, they're not going to be national champions.
Okay. I'm going to say that they absolutely will lose at least one match this year. It might not come in the regular season, but this team will
Well, they can't. If they lose in the playoffs, they're done.
That's true.
So you don't think they're national champions?
I'm not saying they're not national champions.
When are they going to lose the game?
It's possible they might lose in the ACAC championship. They also
That's what I'm saying. So that you think they won't be national champions this year?
You know what? I went against them last year. I might as well go against them again. They're not going to win the national championship.
Fair
this
enough.
Year. Girls,
I got
you can tweet at me and be angry once again.
I believe that they have the team to win it again.
I do too. They're capable. Don't get me wrong.
They've lost 8 sets all season so far.
Yep.
8 sets.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
I think they're going to lose.
Nobody's
at least
taken them 5.
No, Nate did. That's incorrect. Nate did take them. 5
Oh, pardon me.
months.
They did. You're right.
Yeah. Who they play this weekend?
Still not fair for Nate.
That's true.
Okay. The NBA All-Star Game last year drew an average ratings in the U.S. of 7.8 million viewers.
Wow.
This year, it will draw 9 million on average.
Over under 9
Last year was the
million.
most ever.
I'm going to say under. It's
No
still going to
way.
be more than it's going to be more views than last year, but I'm going to say under.
There's no chance. Not with this drama of the teams being picked and nobody gets to see it. Garrett, they're going to have way more.
They're going to be close.
I'm taking the over. It's going to be over 9
I'm going to say
million.
just underneath 9. It's going to be really close.
I got
but
over
just
9.
underneath.
We'll be back at this for sure.
Okay, I'm going to go with one more basketball topic. The winning score at the NBA All-Star Game will be over or under 200 points. Last year, I believe it was 198 the winning team scored. Is a team going to break the 200 point
I thought
mark?
you meant combined.
No,
It's like, what, way over.
Individual. Combined, they were over 300 points last year.
200 points.
Single team, 200 points.
I gotta take the over.
Yeah?
I gotta take the over. No, I can't take the over. I gotta take the under. There's no way that the team is scoring 200
They
points.
got 198 last year. The Rockets take 53s a game. You know Harden's going to just chuck balls constantly. Curry's going to chuck them. Everyone's just going to chuck threes. Kevin Love's going to chuck threes. I think.
So you think it's over? You're taking the over?
I think both teams might get over.
No
200.
way.
Yes.
There's no way.
There are going to be so many
combined
threes.
over 400 points.
Yeah.
No chance.
Threes upon threes. I'm going to say
That's ridiculous.
combined 400 points.
Donald Trump will tweet 6.5 times on Sunday for Super Bowl Sunday. This includes multiple tweets on the same subject and responding to himself.
Okay. So if they're tweeting on the same subject,
No, so if Donald Trump makes a tweet and it's more than 280 characters and he carries it into a second tweet,
that still counts as one?
that counts as one.
Okay.
But responses to himself count as a tweet.
Okay. Definitely over.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely over. I would have put the over under closer to 10, to be honest.
He's a knob, but I think he's going to go under.
I think
he'll be under. I think he'll be 5 or 6.
If he's smart and his PR people,
He's not
get in his
smart.
ear.
He's not smart.
Okay, well that being said,
He's a staple genius.
if somehow people are able to get him to,
He's not smart. He's a genius. Stable.
then
genius.
you know what? No, there's no chance he's going to go over. All right, I got one more for you if you like. One more. Raptors victories this season. They're on pace to have their best season yet and do have a shot at first over under 54.5 wins. Right now they're 33.
Man, that's fascinating stuff. 54, so 55 or 54, right? I gotta go with.
They essentially have to go half 500.
I'm gonna go with the over. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the over on that.
Okay.
Yeah, they will. And I believe they're gonna finish first in the East.
Yeah, I believe so too. I think there's even a chance.
This could be their year. Not to win at all, but to get to the final.
No one's going to beat the Warriors if they're healthy. But I do think there's a legit chance of them going to the finals because of just how crazy the situation in Cleveland is. And as good as Boston is, I think the Raptors are better equipped for a playoff run than them now. They just have more. They have more weapons, and they're similarly good defensively, and they have so much depth.
They need, as much as Cleveland to me is still scarier than Boston is. They need
because
Cleveland
they have
to finish, finish second or third, so
well,
they don't have to.
And that's what it looks like. If you have Cleveland finishing third, having to play in Boston in the second round, that bodes well for Toronto.
Yeah, no joke. All right, Tom Brady will complete 65.5% of his passes on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, over.
think he's going to complete more than 65%?
Yeah, this Patriots game is going to be a blowout, as I told you. So I think that he's absolutely going to go over. Yeah.
I got to take the under on that. I don't think he will.
I think it's going to be a legendary
It's very
Super
close,
Bowl
but
performance.
I can't see it.
It's going to be a total FU to the league, to all their naysayers. Maybe it's an FU to Belichick and Kraft if that tension actually exists.
Gronkowski's going to play, but I'm not convinced he's 100%.
Over and under catches Gronkowski will have 1.
I'm going to go with 2.
Yeah,
I'd say he'll get 2 catches.
Probably a good guess. Probably a good guess.
Unless he gets his bell rung.
Yeah.
We're back, and the gloves are still off.
In honor of Super Bowl Sunday, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do Super Bowl prop bets.
Yeah. Something I've always kind of wanted to do with the show, I think. Yeah.
Super Bowl
I think it's
prop bets in general?
Yeah. Well, and the way you've crafted it, I think, is funnier than normal, too. I think it's more, it's a little bit more substantive in terms of
we'll see here.
Content.
Why don't you we'll carry on the tradition here. You carry on with your first prop bet.
Okay. So my first prop bet for you, and it's A, B, C, or D, you can answer. Chances of 69 references from Gronkowski if the Pats win. A, 100%. B, 100%. C, dude, it's definitely 100%. Or D, 100%.
I'm gonna go with C, dude.
Okay, good. That's the
As he
correct.
laughs.
That's the correct answer. Definitely the correct answer.
Okay. What color will Pink's hair be when she sings the national anthem? Pink, blue, white, or black?
I'm gonna say black because it'll be part of the #MeToo movement.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with white.
Really?
Yeah, I think it'll be white.
Okay.
I have no idea. That's what my gut. That's what my gut tells me. I really
right,
don't.
fair enough.
I mean, I really don't have anything here. I'm just gonna go with white.
Okay, fair enough. We're gonna stick with entertainment. So, who is the most likely surprise guest that will be there with Justin Timberlake? A, Chris Stapleton, who did a single with him recently. B, Jimmy Fallon, his late night buddy. C, Janet Jackson, who of course had that legendary slip up.
Yeah.
And D, there's no special guest.
Yeah, I don't think there's a special guest.
No.
I think JT is gonna take this one on his own.
He definitely is capable. He's quite the artist.
He's gonna roll with it. Listen, he can't be worse than Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar was terrible.
Oh, hot take
recently.
from
He
Lance.
was awful. That was embarrassing.
Tweet at Lance Phillips TV.
Please do. If you disagree with that, let me hear about it because he was hot garbage recently.
Wow.
He was so bad.
All right.
Oh,
what do you got next, man?
Can't believe we had to listen to that. Will Bill Belichick be in a sleeveless shirt at any point on Sunday? Yes or no?
Well, yes. When they win the Super Bowl by like 30 points, as I said before, he will appear in the post-game press conference
in a sleeveless shirt,
just like he was in the last victory.
Okay,
100% yes.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Yeah. There's no way he's not wearing a sleeveless shirt.
No.
Showing off his guns.
Yeah. We're going to go to the Super Bowl commercials are obviously a big part of the weekend. Which TV spot ad will win the Super Bowl in terms of people talking about it on the internet? So we have some kind of Tide Pod Challenge parody. There'll be a commercial around that. B, Black Panther. It's a superhero movie that comes out next month. It's getting a lot of buzz. C, where was I again? C, something about cats, because there's always some cute animal commercial. And D, the Han Solo movie. What do you think is going to win the weekend?
I mean, I feel like in my gut, I'm like, the Tide Pod thing could happen, but no, that's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say was the Tide Pod thing, I think a lot of people would choose that, but I can't see a company making light of actual deaths that have occurred with a product. Okay. So I'm going to go with, what was C again? Some sort of animal? Yeah, I'm going to say it'll be C.
Okay. I do definitely think there's going to be a Tide Pod challenge.
Budweiser horses, probably.
That was another thing I considered. I just think there's going to be an upset this year. I do think the Tide Pod challenge will get some kind of parody in a commercial, but I think the Han Solo movie, because it's a big Star Wars property, obviously all these Star Wars movies are making $1 billion, and it hasn't had a trailer yet. So I think that's going to be big.
I don't know what he's talking about.
That's true. He doesn't watch anything involving sci-fi.
I don't watch sci-fi stuff like that.
That's
It's
fair.
like, what's the
It's a big
X-Files?
culture
Like,
thing.
I'm not into X-Files. Like, I don't know how people are into that stuff.
I'm not into X-Files either. But
like aliens, like, I don't believe in aliens.
Star Wars has become pretty mainstream, though. made over $1 billion.
People might say, that's ignorant of you to say you don't believe in aliens. I do believe in life forms on other planets. I don't think that we're the only ones out there, but the term alien, I don't know.
We need to do a podcast, you and me, and discuss this further. Geez. I think that could be a fun discussion.
And fire.
What you got here?
Okay, number of times Bill Belichick will crack a smile on Sunday. I've got 0, 1, 2. I mean, you can only have low numbers like this. 0, 1, 2, 3 or more.
I'm going to go 3 or more.
Because he's going to crack a smile 3 or more times.
Because he's going to crack a smile in the second half. He's going to crack a smile immediately when they win. He's going to crack a smile.
These are smiles that you actually see.
Yes. Yes. No. You're going to see
obviously
10 plus smiles.
Yeah,
you see a lot of smiles.
I'm going to go with 1. I'm going to go with 1 on this.
Wow.
I
think you're going to see a lot
You
of
might see
smiles.
1 if they win the Super Bowl. You'll see 1 in the post-game hug with Tom Brady. If they don't win, you're not seeing 1.
True. I think if they win, you're going to see a lot.
Interesting.
Though.
Okay.
I think you're going to see a lot. All right. This is.
Maybe if he punches Robert Kraft in the face.
So this is a fun one. How many Philly cheesesteaks will be consumed if the Eagles win the Super Bowl? Specifically, how many Philly Eagles players are going to eat a Philly cheesesteak? So 100, 250, 731, or no, they're not going to consume any cheesesteaks because they're going to keep that away from when they're drinking booze.
I mean, how are you going to find out?
Because I can see them rolling out a whole bunch of Philly cheesesteaks.
I don't. Is there an option for 0?
Yeah,
I'm going with 0.
You're going to go with 0? I'm going to say.
That doesn't make any sense
I'm going to say
me.
250 cheesesteaks are going to be consumed by the players. I think they're going to just munch away on cheesesteaks.
Coin toss will be botched in some fashion, yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
It has to be. It has to be. It's a Super Bowl tradition.
Exactly. It's a Super Bowl tradition.
Somebody will get it and they'll try and flip it and it'll just go boom, and it won't actually flip like last or 2 years ago or whatever it was. Oh, what a disaster. Just flip the coin.
Yeah. I got another one for you here, and I think this is probably, I think it's the key one. How many times will GOAT or greatest of all time come up during the broadcast?
That's a great one.
5, 10, 50, or more.
Well, Eric just said 20 in my ear, so is there a 20 option?
All right, we'll
go with 10.
Rephrase
We'll go with 10. No, we'll go with 10.
10.
I'll go with 10 on that. Yeah,
I'm going to go with 50.
We're running out of time here.
All right, fair enough.
I was going to ask, I'm going to put another one in, but I'm not. Thanks for watching. See you in 7 days. Enjoy the Super Bowl on Sunday. It should be
Have a good one,
good.
folks.